Hey Ninth and O, my name is Bailey, and this is Devotionables, brief devotions for busy people. This morning we're going to be in Psalm 78. We have a lot of text to cover, so we won't read every single verse, but I do want to just highlight some of the major themes throughout the first half of this psalm. We know that this psalm was written by Asaph, who was basically the worship leader under David, and he's instructing the people. We see that in verse 1. He says, "Give ear, O my people, to my teaching. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth." And so our question that we're going to ask is, well, what is he instructing about? Why is it so important that the people hear his words and what he is about to say? As we go throughout the first half of this psalm, going all the way through verse 37, we see this pattern of repetition. We see the Lord does something amazing. We see a great deed of the Lord for his people, and then we see his people be rebellious. We see him bring them out of Egypt, and they complain. We see him provide for them in the wilderness, and they grumble, and they rebel, and it seems as if they have some sort of spiritual amnesia. If you've ever seen the movie Finding Nemo, there's this fish named Dory who has short-term memory loss, and she and another fish get attacked by sharks. And the next thing she says to this fish is, "Who are you?" It's like she completely forgot everything that just happened. We look at the narrative here and we ask Israel, how do you keep forgetting what the Lord has done for you? It's the same question that Asaph is asking. To put it a little more eloquently, Charles Spurgeon said that the memory of God's mercies to them was as soon effaced as if written upon water. It was here and it was gone. They saw what the Lord did. They forgot. They went to their own way. But I think there's a deeper issue here that Asaph points out, and we see it at the very end of this section. We get to verse 32, and Asaph is again recounting the good things that the Lord has done. And in verse 32, he says, "In spite of all of this, they still sinned. Despite his wonders, they did not believe. And so there is consequence for their actions." Verse 34 says, "He killed them, that men of Israel lost their lives." And it says that they sought him and they repented. It says that they remembered that God was their rock. The Most High was their Redeemer. But if we read further, we see the true problem. It says in verse 36, they flattered him with their mouths. They lied to him with their tongues. Their heart was not steadfast toward him. They were not faithful to his covenant. See, the problem was not just that Israel forgot what the Lord had done, but they did not allow the things that the Lord had done to instruct their hearts of who he was. They did not know the Lord rightly. And so then what is the instruction of Asaph? It is to know the Lord. It is to know God, to know who he is, to know how he has made us, to know how he has loved us, to know his righteousness, to know his goodness, his kindness, his justice. All of these things, that is the instruction. And so our question then is, how do we know the Lord? Thankfully, the Bible leaves us with plenty of answers to the questions that we have. And in Colossians 1:15, it tells us that Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. How do we know God? We know him through Jesus, through his life, his death, his resurrection, and his return that is coming one day. John writes in chapter 1 of his gospel that Jesus is the light of men, and that all who receive him will become children of God. How do we know God rightly? It is through knowing and loving Jesus. But not only this, the call is not simply to know. It's not only to know God, but it is also to tell of his good works. We see in the very beginning of this psalm that Asaph instructs the people of God to not hide these things from their children, but to tell the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord and his might and the wonders that he has done. Our job is not just to know Jesus, but to know Jesus and to tell the world of his goodness. And so I encourage you, know the Lord. Know his goodness, know what he has done, and know what that reveals about him. But then don't keep that to yourself. That is great news of great joy. Take that to the world that they may know him as well. Have a great day.